Peace, family. Peace, peace, peace. Honey, one second. I'm looking to see what class this is because the way this teacher is screaming. Okay. Just needed to see which class that was. Okay, so first off, I hope you guys are having a phenomenal day. If not, do understand and get your day is going to get better once their perception of yours gets better. So this morning, what I keep telling myself is everything's working. Everything's working in my favor. Okay, a lot of you guys know that is like my mantra, right? Everything is working in my favor. It's all coming together for the greater good. So every part of Cedric, every part of my journey, I'm very transparent, okay? In regards to things I'm going through, things I've been through, and things that I'm currently dealing with, right? And shout out to the universe. Shout out to the universe because, man, it knew back then that I guess I would have a platform to share my experience with certain things, well, with my life and, things of that nature. So a few months ago, right, all right, let's go all the way back. Let's go all the way back. First of all, I wasn't even going to do this. I wasn't even going to take this walk, okay? Can't find my AirPods. Don't know where they are. And I said, nope, let's take the walk, okay? And so here I am. So that's why it's not really good to rely on things, because if you lose that thing, what you gonna do? Are you gonna take the challenge, or are you gonna say, I'm gonna wait until I get a new pair? Right? The choice is yours. So this story goes all the way back to when I was doing rideshare, okay? And this was when I had my white car, okay? And I had met this passenger, okay? And the passenger who I met, she was really, really cool. We hit it off. She was going to New York. I forget exactly where I picked her up from, but she was going to New York. And for some strange reason, we got on the topic about homeschooling, right? And she was from Michigan. And one of the things she was telling me was that she took her children out of the public school system. She said because it creates socialism, right? Like they want all the kids to be a certain way. And even it's structured far as school-wise, right? Like if you don't learn the way majority of the kids learn, like if you don't pick up quick, like me, I know I'm more of a, they call it starts with a K, but I'm more of a visual learner, okay? If you speaking, sometimes I may not get it, but visualization, it holds my attention. And, if I see pictures and stuff like that, so that's what type of learner I am. So anywho, so this mother and I, we was talking, and one of the things that she was saying, like her daughter kept on feeling reading, and I forgot what other subject, but she said she took her daughter out of the school system. She said because the reason why her daughter was feeling it, a subject, was because the pace that the teacher, they have to go a certain pace, and because her daughter wasn't really interested in that, right? But once she took her out of the system and she started homeschooling her, okay, she started doing fairly well. And her son, okay, her oldest son, because she took him out too, and he got accepted to Michigan State. So me and her was talking, right? And she was like into religion and stuff like that. And I was like, I want to take my children out and I want to homeschool my children for many reasons, right? To me, the school system is outdated. That's one. And then two is the teacher's job. And shout out to the teachers, okay? But the teacher's job is there to enforce whatever new policies or whatever it is that comes out. They there to enforce it. And I remember I was listening to this guy who said reading in the school system is being, slowly taken out of the school system. And he said, you remember growing up, I don't know about you guys, but you remember, I'm quite sure you guys remember Hooked on Phonics, right? And this wealthy guy, I had heard him say they had took Hooked on Phonics out of the school system to replace it with the See It something method, okay? And I heard that too, right? So I took my youngest son out, okay? And we was doing great, okay? One of the reasons why I took him out was during the whole COVID thing, right? I was like, this is a great opportunity. I seen the way one of the teachers was talking, and I was like, I'm gonna take him out and I'm gonna teach him on my own, right? We watch videos on YouTube and all this other stuff. And one of the reasons why, right, the stuff in your head that you tend to have, I started thinking like, before this, and I even told the mother, who I had picked up the passenger that day, I told her, I was like, I don't know, I want to homeschool my children, but I don't know, if I'm smart enough, okay? And she was like, no, you smart enough, God wouldn't give you children, if you couldn't teach them or whatever. It was like that, right? So I took him out, took my youngest son out, and everything was good, right? The way we was working was, we'll watch videos, we'll draw. It was like really about creativity, right? And I tell you guys all the time, if you want to connect to your inner child, you have to get creative. You gotta start doing the stuff that your inner child love to do. So anywho, his father got upset and was like, my son not learning and all this other stuff, and was like, you know what, he going back to regular school next year. So the next year he went back to school, my youngest son, okay? And the teacher, she was like, now mind you, when I took our youngest son out of school, this was now, what was it? November. And COVID had hit, let me see. Because I remember, COVID, it was still going on. Because they was doing schoolwork at home, right? Virtual schoolwork. And that's when I took him out, my youngest son. And so, and I remember like waking up in the morning and having like experiencing this nervousness, because I'm like, this teacher, her mouth and stuff, all this different stuff, and I don't want to get in an argument with her. And there's times where as though I had said certain things to her, and I was like, I don't want to go through all of this. I said, you know what? I'm just taking him out. Because the way she talked to the kids, like, I'm just taking him out. So I took him out. And when I took him out, he was out from November up until, what was this? Up into June, right? Because then the following year, he had went back. He had went back to school. So, as he was in school, his teacher started saying, you know, like, his work and stuff like that, like, he was behind and, you know, all these different things. And one of the things that you have to understand, right, because I don't know too many parents that homeschool their children and then put the children back into the school system, right? Homeschooling is completely different from being indoctrinated by the school system, right? It's completely different. And so, it's okay. And so, that had happened, and, you know, his grandmother had paid for a tutor. His grandmother from his father had paid for him, my youngest son, to get a tutorer from Sylvan, and he was going to tutoring sessions. I would bring him to tutoring sessions twice a week. And so because of that, and then I started paying, before his grandmother paid for the tutoring sessions, I was paying out of pocket for a tutorer, right? And that session, I don't know if it was $80 a week or something like that, but at the time I was doing Uber, right? And so, you know, since all of these things was in place, the teacher was like, you know, I'ma pass him, right? I'ma pass him. He could go to second grade. So second grade comes, and my youngest son is in second grade, okay? And the teacher had a concern, like, you know, he's falling behind, right? And I would take my youngest son, we'd go to the bookstore and everything like that, so I can, you know, tell him, like, you know, reading is fundamental. Like, you have to read whatever subject, all right, you have to read. And so the teacher was like, I don't know. She said this in November. She said, I don't know, but your son, she was like, maybe he would have to stay back. And I was feeling some type of way because, one, right, COVID had hit during the whole pandemic thing. Then two, you know, I took him out, and the plan was to keep him out. But I guess, like, his father felt like I wasn't smart enough to teach him or whatever it is like that. Which is funny, by the way, because during this whole ordeal, I've been doing everything, like paying for his tutorer, and then his grandmother paid for, you know, his tutorer and stuff like that. And I had told his father, I said, listen, the teacher may try to keep him back this year. Since you claimed them, right, on your taxes, how about you pay for a tutorer, right? Let him get tutored. That way, you know, he don't get left back. And so he was like, yeah, see about it, whatever. I guess nothing ever occurred. And then after that, he, so today, I had to go to the school and basically sign a paper for my son to be retained. And I started feeling some type of way. Like, you know, because the teacher, she was like, you know, since that whole year we was all for COVID, you know, that has something to do with it. But maybe him staying back, it'll help him. And I started just feeling some type of way because I went through the same thing with my oldest son, who is now 19 years old. The funny thing is, I don't understand it because, you know, and this could be me just thinking on a limb. They don't really, I don't know what the numbers are or whatever it is like this, but this is just from my personal experience. The girls, I don't see too many girls being retained, getting left back, right? So I started thinking about that, and then, because I was like, damn, this done happened to, you know, my oldest child, and now it's happening to my youngest child. And one of the things that I had told the teacher was, if you saying that he's not getting the words, or so to speak, who's to say if next year is going to be the same? Because he's just not interested in the school. He's just not. Even when I was paying for him to get tutored, the tutorer I had to call his father to come to the library, because the tutorer was like, he's not interested in this stuff. And so that's what I'm dealing with. Okay. But I wanted to come on here to say this. For every setback, okay, and it may seem like there's a few, for every setback, there is always a comeback, okay? You have to understand that things that you are growing through, it is not here to break you, okay? And there is always something positive in whatever it is that you may be facing, whatever adversity it is that you may be growing through, right? There is always something in there, okay? And so one of the things I started thinking was this. You see, I always talk about the laws of the universe, right? Because the laws of the universe, they truly govern our lives. Whether people believe that, that's neither here nor there, okay? It's something I believe. And it's something that I know works. See, you got to understand that source is always on your side. Whatever you deem source to be, is always on your side, is always showing up for you. And the more you keep on believing it, right? The more you keep on walking around confidently in that, right? The more the universe, source, is going to start conspiring in your favor. And things just start coming together like nobody else's business. Everything is almost like magic. It's almost like magic working in a sense, right? Whereas though you're like, damn, I was going through this, I've been through that and all this, but you still have faith and you still believe that life is on your side. Life is working in your favor. And so to the parent that's out there, because I know, I'm quite sure there's a parent out there that's going through probably the same exact situation, where as though your child being left behind, right? And you probably feel a certain type of way. Understand things are working in your favor. Because if I wasn't dealing with that, this is exactly why I say what I say when it comes down to the universe. If I wasn't dealing or growing through certain things, right, it would give me no content, right? And instead of me looking and saying, oh my goodness, look at my life, I look at it and I say, oh my goodness, I know there's something drastic that's working in my favor, something drastic that's finna hit. And I believe it. And it's almost like the child, right? So naive when it comes to me believing in the universe. So naive and just like gullible. Yeah, I know it. I know somebody could be like, man, your life is fucked up, right? Somebody could say that, from the outside looking in. But what I say is, damn, it's working. Damn, it's all coming together. Everything is just coming together the way it's supposed to come together. No matter what I do, the universe is always conspiring to work for me. Every time it seems like a setback, I know something phenomenal is finna happen. And you have to constantly tell yourself this and start believing it. And then not only that, look at this. Everything that you have been through, right? You can always go back and say, damn, I remember when I went through that. And I didn't know exactly how I was going to get through. But I got through, right? And that's how you have to start looking at your life. And start looking at, whatever it is. Whatever it is that seems like is the illusion of a setback. It's really not a setback. Is really sources setting you up for greatness, right? But do you run with the ball or do you drop it? Which one you doing? Are you running with it or you keep on dropping the ball? Okay? And for me, it's like looking at the good in the situation. Okay? Now sometimes I may not be able to pick it out right away, right? And in those times I say, I know it's working. I don't know what the universe is conspiring up, but I know it's working. And so to the person that's out there that's going through something, you may have asked for something. You may have asked that your life get better, right? And in doing so, sometimes things have to fall apart to come together and to work for the greater good, okay? Because if things don't fall apart, how could they come together? And so I started saying, what could I do in this moment? Right? What could I do in this moment? Oh, I could do a video. Okay? I could go for a walk. I could be grateful for my health. I could be grateful for, having the ability to have perception and to change my perception. I could be grateful that there's a law called polarity, that in everything that appears to be bad is always something that's good. I could do that. And so you have the power to do so too. Okay. Wouldn't it be so dope if from a year from now, this is what I vision, okay? A year from now, right? And I'm like, I'm paying for my son to be homeschooled, okay? By someone that is dedicated and love homeschooling children. And I have the ability because money is so lucrative. It's so lucrative, right, in my life. And I'm able to do, some of the things that I always wanted to do. Wouldn't that be dope? See, we don't know how things are going to turn out, but we know that they're going to turn out. And we also know that they're working in our favor. And so with that being said, I love you guys. Make sure you're rocking out, believing in yourself, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.